Welcome back. This is GameBreakers. I am Thomas. I'm here with Allison, David, and Diamond, and we are continuing to play Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition. This is a Bard's Tale, part 2 of this episode. If you missed part 1, go back. You're not going to have any context as the camera zooms in, and we see everybody approaching a table with Stan Smith and Embermock, the Azer, I don't know. They're all made up words. And at this point, a bag of money has been laid on the table. It's like, all right, let's make this real.
Have I participated in any yet?
You guys have at this point, I will say you guys have gotten to the boasting phase and probably put some displays on. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I'd say there's been a lot of boasting so far. And how long does a giant strength last? It's not terribly long. Guess I'll start without it.
Okay.
Go I fair.
All right. What's your strength without it? Just out of curiosity.
My strength without it is 20.
Okay. You are still often a match for him. Like there's some times when you got some bad luck, and on an arm wrestle or on a toss where your footing. Something was just not right, but if everything has been on, you've usually been able to take it.
You know what? I don't want your money. I didn't come to this party to find money.
Ha ha! Okay then.
I need help.
Leave.
He slaps his hammer on the table. I see you've got some fine armor there. Who's that craftsman? I don't hate his style.
You know what? I'm gonna pop the power so the logo pops up.
Okay.
That's the bet that you just earned every penny of that advertising.
There's applause from behind you. Oh, yes, very well. Yeah.
It's a pretty nice suit.
Sure is. Now what do you think? I'll take you on this one.
I think I need help in the desert with politics and dragons. I don't even know where to start.
I'm no help there. I'll tell you that right now. Politics, not my gig.
Use them.
And I'm really only passing through. I don't have any stake here. I'm looking to do some mining.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'll tell you all about it right after I throw you.
Isn't there some problem in the
stands up
mine?
and puts his foot forward to do the where I'm from we call it Indian wrestling. I don't know if that's the term for it. It's
Probably not anymore.
no, probably not anymore. This is Wyoming. Actually, there they probably still call it that. But whatever it is, it's that contest where you set your feet together and then try to knock one another off balance with one hand.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he's betting me his hammer. Is that my understanding? What is can I evaluate his hammer?
He's putting his hammer against your armor.
What's his hammer like? Does it look
His
spiffy?
hammer is
Is it better than mine?
yes. It doesn't take much to notice that. I mean, it is hot around it at all times, like just like waiting to burst into flame. It's made of some magical bronze. It's clearly of bronze hue and sheen, but it is not of the softness or malleability of bronze. Some sort of planar metal in all likelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Finely balanced. So if you'd like to pick it up, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll pick it up.
Okay.
If you're worthy.
Nah, it's not like that. It's
A little like that.
It's clearly very well balanced, more so than your hammer, like magically balanced. It's working to help you hold it. You can feel just holding it, your skin begin to heat up and emanate heat.
Hmm. Would it be considered cheating if I use the potion to get better strength? Would it be dubious, or to use a spell? I mean, is this supposed to be raw strength? I don't know. He's on fire. How is that fair? I'm just saying.
Just the hairy parts.
Well, for you, a spell is basically saying, "Hey, Morden, give me strength," right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I think bless, right? Like saying a prayer before.
That would probably be less dubious than a potion. Just like your lawfulness feels better about that than the other. Internal versus external.
Yeah.
It's where your moral compass is pointing you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Chaotic people just know how to put a magnet on the compass. Anyway.
Did I receive a point of inspiration? Oh, I have one. I have one on my chart. Okay. So I can, if I use inspiration, I gain advantage.
You gain a D8. Wait, Struana, what's your dice for inspiration? If you were to hand it out, because it goes up by level in parts.
It's an 8.
It's an 8.
It's a D8. No, it's a 10. I'm sorry, my bad. It's a D10.
Right. So you're usually one above the regular level, so we'll call it a D8 until somebody finds the rule.
Okay, so I would add a D8. All right, so I'm gonna do that. I'm going to, yeah, I'll make the. I will. Let's do this.
Okay.
Really hope I don't lose my armor. All right, let's go.
Okay. You.
Power of Morden be with me.
All right. You say some prayers. He sees you pray, and he says, "All right." Ah! And like the flames stoke up. He does the anger from inside out. Like there's the raging inferno of him gets better. He grabs your hand, and you feel it sting a little with the heat. You can tell that it might be worse if you were not flashing Hezrig's logo and invulnerable right now. Go ahead and roll me your strength check. Ooh.
As a note, I also bless Struana and ClickClack.
Okay.
All right.
Just in case.
So I'm going to use. So I get a D4.
It's an athletics test.
An athletics test.
Yeah.
Okay.
So strength based.
rolling a d20, and then I get a d4 from my bless, and then using inspiration, I would get. Can I use inspiration after I've rolled? I can't remember.
Yes.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
5th edition is a kind system.
Yeah, because what the hell is up with that? That's a terrible roll. I
Story
can't
is
salvage
more
that.
important than rules.
I can't salvage that.
That's rough. So you've got, but you add your strength plus athletics plus your inspiration.
Yeah, strength plus athletics. I get +9, so it's a 17 raw. Or it's not raw. Raw is the 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And your D8 inspiration.
Yeah, might as well. Come on, Morgan! 6. So 17, 25.
25.
Right? No, I think I added that
Here's
wrong.
my-
17, 23.
Okay.
Unless I have some bonus that I'm not looking at. Is this a? You said this is a save?
No, this is a check. This is an athletics check.
Okay, right. Yeah.
All right. So in his mad rage, he takes you and just pushes all the way down. You are all the way back on your heels, and then all of a sudden you realize he's overextended. And you just turn and catch him with your hip. He rolled a 19, which got him to 22.
Wild applause from the peanut gallery over here.
Gordon was-
and he just looks up a little stunned, and the flames go low, and he you can see he takes a deep breath, and he goes, "Well played."
Stands a little stunned, and he's just, yeah!
Applause from the crowd. Applause from the crowd.
Give me a drink!
We won't have to roll for this one, but the cloth wrapped figure passes by, looks for a moment and then loses interest. This isn't art. And he indeed just clunks the hammer in front of you. You earned that. Well, that's gonna
Thank
cost me. I was hoping to get the adamantine. Oh well. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But hey, where did you get that? I mean, I see the craftsman and I hear where you're from, but specifically, that metal I'm in need of.
I see. Well, is he asking for I can give you the shop's information, like where to find them? Is that what you're asking? That's where I got it.
All right, that would be a start. And
have you talked to the Dwarven in the Dwarven district in the Confederacy where I'm from? Do I know where do they mine adamantine?
Well,
Dan,
while I have heard that your
There's
home is the place to procure absolutely anything I might need, I have also heard that it is the sort of place that I might want to avoid.
Dan, there'd been a problem
It's like-
in the mines of your home area, and there was a lost person down there, which is who that armor belonged to. I don't remember more than that, but it feels like you've got a potential connection here.
Yeah.
This is stuff you would already know. I'm just reminding you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, It is hard. I'm sure it's hard to not burn your paperwork. But it's not such a bad place.
Yeah? Politics are okay there? I don't...
Well,
Yeah, that's the reputation I hear, and I'm not looking to get wrapped up in anything. I just need materials. I have a project. That's it. But
now wherever there's valuable resources, there's often politics.
he looks around meaningfully at the court. Tell me about it. This round's on you, he says, and then sits down for more drinking. What do you guys do?
Absolutely. I drink.
Come join them in the drinking.
Haha, you've got friends.
I sit next to them while they drink.
Water also is the most plentiful drink available.
All right.
It's a lavish display.
You could have fruit juice too, I'm sure. Or other delicious things.
I have a flaming hammer, guys.
Yeah, you
Like-
do.
I will get you the card to that by the end of... It won't take you too long to attune. Here's the very short version. It does 2d8 flaming fire damage. It's versatile, so if you do it two-handed, it's 2d10. If someone hits you, they take a d6 fire damage. And you are immune to fire and poison. Your skin takes on a bronze metallic hue when you attune to it. You begin to look a lot like an Azer.
Man, just a little meta, but like being immune to fire is gonna make us being able to play together so much easier. Oh my god!
Right? Oh my god.
I can fireball into you, and it's not gonna hurt you. Great! Holy smokes! Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm really glad you didn't lose your armor, Stan.
Yeah, me too. I thought I just about lost it there.
If you rolled any lower.
I have a feeling we're going to start running into a lot of fire-resistant enemies.
Or a lot of really crispy ones.
A paper elemental arises.
At the moment you said it, it became a thing, and it's in the voice district in the paper factories. That's
So I'm gonna very happily like cheers Stan and Stan's new friend and have a drink, and then hey Stan. So there's a guy we're gonna try and trap real quick. You should be on the lookout in case anything exciting happens.
Embermock
Like,
is
FYI.
like, who's that now?
Describe him.
I mean, you might not want to make trouble at the party.
No, we don't want to make trouble at the party, but we want to talk to him. And since he keeps like dodging, kind of have to like. I don't mean trap like bitey teeth. I mean trap like, hi, how are you today? Can I talk to you about our Lord and Savior Morden?
Oh God, you're a bard, aren't you?
One of those.
I get it. I thought you meant like catch it with a rope. Well, in that case, I can clue you in a little bit. It's a fairy named Unvula. Call it Darkling.
Bring it in the note.
Most of the Darklings I run into are short. I guess the tall ones are some kind of big deal.
Can I roll, what is it, going to be Knowledge Arcana to know what a Darkling is?
Yeah, give that a roll.
Ah,
I I'd let that ride.
What happened all this?
I think nature also could for Fae.
Yeah. Not great either way, but we'll give it a try.
Jack of all trades does mean master of none.
Yep. Ooh, I got a 19 though for my Arcana.
Okay. Once upon a time, there was an archfey, and it had dreamed up many fairy children, as all of them do. And then it somehow angered the Summer Queen. The story is erased from history and fiction, as well as the Archfey's name and anything about it. The children that survived the Summer Queen's wrath were cursed to age in sunlight and become tiny and withered. They're not immortal. They just get really old. So with what did you say total?
19.
19 total? Okay.
Yeah.
With the 19, that's what you get.
Okay. So essentially say that out loud to him like, oh, so it's one of these and this thing and this thing and this thing, so that Stan and ClickClack also hear that, and I'm confirming that data. And by saying that, oh, this thing, encourage if they know more to say more.
He just kind of nods along. Yep, sounds right. I don't know.
Do you know
Not where I'm from.
why is it here then?
I don't know.
Huh.
Might be a good thing to ask.
It mightn't.
I know his folk have kind of a reputation.
Like how?
Oh, they do the murdering.
Oh.
Remember what I said about not trapping this thing?
Yeah. No, I wasn't going to try and trap it. I just want to talk to it.
In
Also-
any way.
Slightly
Don't poke the
unbeknownst,
murder fairy. You'll wake up
Slightly
with death under your pillow.
slightly unbeknownst to my colleagues here, I have a vested interest in trying to talk to a fairy. Any stripe right now.
It seems as though across the room, as you're glancing between your colleagues, your gaze gets held for just a moment in between their heads, and way down the way, there it is, just cloaked, facing you.
Like, gesture at it. Like, come here.
I see you. I hear you. All you hear is a whisper, by the way. Right, kind of like as though someone were whispering, stage whisper about here.
Then if you see me and hear me, let's chat. If you talk for a minute, I'll be happy to perform for you.
It sits quietly and watches for a moment. It disappears briefly from sight, and then as two people cross in front of you 20 feet closer, it's there again, looking. Are you sure?
Not now.
I'm sure that I will perform one set for you for a brief period of time. I'm certain I want to talk to you. Am I sure what?
Why do you want to talk? It's whisperier and creepier than that, but I don't want to. I don't want to blow out anybody's headphones with whispering into mics. I'm like, why do you want to talk?
Because I see you watching. Because ones who are watching tend to know more and have answers, and because I hope you might know something about a door.
It disappears. And then maybe 25 feet away in the crowd reappears again. And this at this point you're close enough that you can see its eyes. And you get that feeling that you got when you stood in front of the door the first time. And you can see in its eyes, across the irises, are the patterns that were on the door that sucked you in the first time. I know many things about many doors. What do you need to know? And you can feel in your eye those patterns mirroring in your iris. There's a tingle in your eye.
How to open the door at the bottom of the maelstrom. The door on that island. The door I've engaged with. Just that door. How to open that door. And how to neutralize Boranor. Those are the things I need to know.
It approaches you. Takes a seat towards the end of your table. You can all see it now.
Do you drink?
I can.
Would you like to?
I haven't decided.
I'm basically talking to a magical serial killer, guys. This is gonna go swimmingly.
We'll miss you.
It's not a red cap.
Like,
You know that.
I'm trying to die like once per session. This is great.
Tonight's Dance with Death.
So based on that I know and making deals with fairy, like, Diamond knows the chunk of, like, in Diamond's world, you don't make deals with fairies. Those never end up good. But this isn't exactly the same in D&D. So, do I know anything, or do I need to roll anything about making deal with this kind of fairy based on what I know in Knowledge Arcana?
You could make a nature check. It's kind of the general nature of Fae.
Like, there's general stuff like, be precise. I got a 9. At this point, there's no reason not to try to be lucky, which gives me an 11.
Is that total?
Yeah,
That is total.
not great.
Tell me again what you were hoping would happen. What was your?
Okay, so based on the stories that Diamond the Human, know,
Yeah.
like, if you're going to make a deal with a fairy, you are very precise with your language, you follow the agreement explicitly, and you, like, don't eat their fruit, or step into circles, or go into any of their spaces. and
Well-
carry lead and silver on you. So that's sort of like that, the equivalent of that for D&D world.
Sure. You know that there
Promise.
are fairy nobles and fairy commoners, and the nobles are the ones that usually have the legends of the very intricate, and like once you make a deal with a fairy, they must hold their end, tricking fairies into making a deal with you. Cold iron, generally known to be a weakness. Other than that, there is an intricate fey court or set of noble courts in the Feywild that seem to occasionally come into conflict and spill over into the prime material. But the ins and outs of that, you kind of have to be a fairy.
Well, let us know if you're interested in a drink. Unvela? Is that how it was pronounced?
Unville.
Unvela. Okay. Refer to it by name, because we can. Do you have answers to those questions?
I'm curious about this door you found.
Yeah, me too. So, Thomas, I can't talk about the island. Is that correct?
No. You are not magically bound not to talk about the island.
I just made a promise that I completely
Right.
ignored.
You aren't going to give anything away about the location or what it is.
Okay.
Those are the things that trigger psychic damage.
Okay. On an airship journey, I, for fuel, landed on an island, and as part of explain how some of my companions had been caught by a dancing red shoes dancing spell, whatever that is actually called in the rest of the world. And how there had also been a Djinn there, and we had freed it. But how since then it has kept showing up in my mind's eye with the urge to open it, and to find out how.
You
This-
bear.
This might be the first time, Stan, that Stan and ClickClack are hearing this story also.
You bear the Dupkatha's mark.
What is the Dukatha?
You have been touched by the Dark Crow, by my lord and master, who dreamed me into existence. He is like gone to reverential in tone, and now pulls the cloth down off of his face. It is there are some eye ridge tattoos as he pulls it down, and some also along the bottom lip that seem to be a tally. There are many tally marks. But the features are gray, elven in kind of scope. They bear the same sort of finely carved, curvy, pointy-eared nature to that. Please take me to this place.
For what purpose?
You stood before what should be a tomb, and what should never again have connected with your home plane. What you have described to me cannot be if my dark crow is dead. But if it lives, if a spark of my lord escaped the Summer Queen's wrath and has taken a supplicant from your plane, I must know. That is all. Fervent sincerity.
Mm-hmm. Like, guy at a bar, like, thoughtfully, like, sipping a whiskey, like, doing that. Very clearly, I'm just, like, considering for a moment. So I hope he's patient, because Struana is thinking for a minute, and then I can't say no or yes yet. I have to deal with the thing in front of me before I can add new promises or new voyages.
What thing?
I know you were listening to the story that I told. I can't pronounce his name either, Thomas, but the Weaver of Voyages, that one.
Just remember, it sounds cheerful. Modizamem.
Modizamem.
Okay. I think I wrote down a lot more syllables than that. Anyway, I know you were listening when I told of that, and I believe you were listening when I spoke with, every time I performed, we have to solve the issue of Boranor first. We have to do what we can to save the Delta Confederacy first. I can't promise additional journeys until I'm done with this one. My quest log gets too full, it's absurd. I can never find the quest I'm currently on.
Do you wish me to slay it?
Boranor.
Was that a question?
Yes.
Or was that an offer? Dan and ClickClack, have you guys been listening to this conversation? Because if you are, now is the time to say something.
Boranor. Kill that guy.
Is that an
you ask
option?
is not impossible, especially with your aid. It would come back in centuries.
Yeah. How do we stop that cycle? I mean, that's my... Is that possible?
I am better at ending life than keeping it from coming back. Such questions are for clerics. I can tell you where to put the knife.
It may be that that we would need you to do that. Honestly, it may be that we have that conversation. But I'm not willing to give up on the option of making the best possible outcome for the very fascinating people I've met in the desert. Whatever the name of the desert is, I'm actually saying that. I just don't remember what the name of the desert is.
Well, from here until there, any obstacle that stands in your way threatens to slow your journey. I will kill if you need it. I wish you to speed through this quest so that I might have what I desire.
How do we speak with you again after we've left this place?
I will follow you. I will travel with you if you let me. I know some things about traveling in this desert, keeping out of the sun.
Like, glance over at Dan and ClickClack, like, traveling with me means traveling with us, and that is not entirely my decision.
I understand.
Like, glance at the two of you with the, like, so what do y'all think? Want a super fairy mummy on our side?
Not a mummy. Not undead, by the way. If you try to
Yeah.
divine sense it or anything.
I do.
It's just deeply allergic to sunlight.
Boy, is he in the wrong.
Oh, God. He said drink. He's got marks right here. I bet I know what his drink of choice is.
Clamato.
Souls. Clamato.
That's even worse.
12-year-old or like 14-year-old Diamond totally drank Corona and Clamato.
You don't have to admit that.
Yeah. I feel like it gives me character. Also, did you ever know a 14 make a good decision? Come
Isn't
on.
the character you want to be? So it looks intently at each of your companions, waiting for their answer.
If it gets us closer to resolving Bornar, I'm in.
Sure. This is one of those social decisions. Like, how can I put this? ClickClack is pretty sure he knows what this is, so he's letting Stan be the decider. You know, let's let the Holy Avenger make this decision.
Yeah.
Holy Avenger's like, sure. Then I'm like, yes, okay. Because I really do want to, like, spend time getting to know more about Dukatha? Yep. Dukatha. I wrote it down phonetically.
Dubkatha, the Dark Crow.
Yeah. And other fairy stuff. Like, if the guy knows a bunch of stuff, then he can tell me a lot of interesting stories. And it is always worth having more knowledge. Little bit of a knowledge hound. This is what I get out of bed for.
He seems reflexively respectful to you specifically, Struana.
That's right.
It's a trip. It's a trip. Like, well, this is unusual. Okay.
Usually you have to earn this.
Usually I gotta show off a bit before this works. Well then, if you shall travel with us, then you shall. And once we have solved this issue, however we can, then you and I will have a long, hard discussion about what taking you means and how to do it.
We need to rest first.
Speaking of which,
Nods. I will prepare for the journey. I assume we leave with the storm?
your assumption is better than mine, having spent more days in the desert than I have.
Well, it's a dangerous time of day. You either take shelter or you run. I'll leave you to it. I'm sorry if I unsettle you. And he stands up, turns around, and gone.
Like, kind of proud of myself because of an ally. Like, all right, yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
this could be
Good
awful,
job.
but I'm proud of it. So also, I spoke with the Kieran, and it will help us rest if we go drink with it. So we should probably do that at some time soon. Because I don't know about you, but I've been awake for long enough that magical rest is just about the right ticket.
All right, is that next on the list?
That's next on my list, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to finish talking to a dwarf about mines in the Dwarven district of the Delta. The Aether.
Do you? He doesn't have much to say on the topic. You know, he's looking for very rare, very specific metals. He's got a project.
Isn't there a problem? Well, you know what? I'm gonna check the notes. I'll check the notes. What I'm gonna do. There's a difficulty with getting Sartos Brent to promise to join in the fight with Voronor because they continue to send battle people into the mine. So telling the Aether that, and that while that's primarily a gem mine,
I find all sorts of things. A note on accuracy, maybe I have it wrong in the quest log, but there's a broader trouble underneath, of which the mine is one example. But there are a bunch of instances like this going on. Perhaps I'm looking specifically for star metals and adamantines. Frankly, the material plane is a poor source for most of this, but I'm not particularly well versed in getting around in the plane of Earth or the plane of everything I need that grows on trees. So here I am.
can I roll a knowledge history to see if I've heard of any places where these have been? I mean, I'm a dwarf. I might hear this.
You might, and we can just go through as you're generally helpful. Give him some tips, and you know he'll be amenable later, because it's narrative plot.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he bids you farewell. He's off to mingle with all the various entourage of the Genasi.
Kieran.
Okay.
Unless somebody else has something to do, Kieran.
Oh, good.
You sit and talk with the Kieran for a while. I'm probably going to refer to it as she, but I don't think it has a gender. But brings in, already has a full meal arrayed for you.
Nice.
You see a very valuable jewel-encrusted chalice at the center of it.
Yes.
As you eat, you will gain the effects of a hero's feast.
Ooh. What all does that entail?
It's a spell.
Looking it up.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with it, but I don't remember like the actual.
It makes you immune to fatigue, poison, fear, and gives you, I think, some bonuses or advantages on some checks. It's generally badass.
Yeah.
Immune to poison and being frightened. Makes all wisdom saving throws at advantage. Hit point maximum increases by 2d10.
Ooh. I didn't know that. Never mind. I take it back. No, I'm kidding. You said 2d10?
2d10.
All right, I'll roll that once.
Hit point
and give it to
maximum
everybody.
increases by. These benefits last for 24 hours.
That will be 16 hit point max extra for everybody. So as you eat, you are also just speaking with this creature over the course of time, even when it's just like quietly listening to you eat and just sort of nodding and granting you its presence. You gain the effect of an epic long rest, which
Nice.
is a long rest that takes a single hour. Just the whole experience is the nicest thing. I mean, even when you're just talking about small talk or a little bit of court gossip, you know, everything is just meant, like, everything is just calming and soothing and rest your weary bones. So spend hit dice, roll hit dice, then you'll get hit dice back, spells, etc., etc. You'll
Yay, I
probably
get
end up at 4 hit points.
I only had one spell left.
It's a good time for a long rest.
So for the next 24 hours, we have no diseases. We're immune to poison. We can't be frightened. Wisdom saving with advantage. That's a big deal for me, Struana, the not so wise. Plus the 2d10. And this 24 hours is a good chunk of time for that to happen for.
Nice. Immune from poison.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I copy pasta that into the notes so everyone else who's watching can. There you go. Wow. It's good to be nice to pointy creatures.
Yeah.
So as you're starting to feel 100% again, the Kirin kind of gets to business. Struana told me a little bit about how you got to be here.
Yeah.
And what you hope to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's going to be very difficult.
So they keep saying.
I might be able to offer some suggestions
Okay.
if you tell me a little more detail about what sort of outcome you're hoping for. I would like eventually to make this place my home. And I would like my home to be peaceful, with prosperous people in it. Right now, it's kind of a mess. And I think you may be part of the first step of helping clean that up. Let's talk about the Death Knight. I understand that if you strike it down, it will eventually return. The power of its oath is too great to keep it locked in a grave.
That is what we understand from history and studies. Oh my god, I'm a Borinor expert.
Will any of you, do you think, live another 200 years?
What's the lifespan of a gnome?
I shrug, like, I'm not gonna say no
I
because
think
there's
gnomes
a
max out at like 3 or 4. Could be wrong.
It's been so long since I needed to know.
Right, and I have so many editions of D&D in my head that I don't even know anymore.
I feel like dwarves are in the 200 range, but it's more like, I may have just like signed on with a fairy lord that seems to grant like a really long life. So, do I know if I'm going to? Not for sure. Do I think I'm going to? At this point, not for sure.
I might.
One of the fun parts of being mortal is how long do you think you'll live? You kind of shrug and go,
Do you
Yeah.
think if we struck it down here in the desert that you could dedicate the rest of your lives to making sure the city is ready? You are the expert.
Were you talking to me?
To the group.
Oh.
The expert to Struana. You are the expert.
the rest of our lives a long time for us, and a dwarf's life is full of so many variables. I can't make a promise that might come to fruition in 200 years and believe I'm going to keep it. I don't know. There's literally too much.
I can respect that.
We have to start a whole new church.
That is one way to accomplish it. It would be a difficult path, and you would sacrifice everything. And I understand that, but it's why I asked. There are other options. As I understand the story, Ornor was first captured with an imprisonment spell by the dragon.
And then it was broken by somebody who had knowledge of that spell. Pretend I said the name. Then go look if I have to. But, and you can't keep knowledge secret. No knowledge is secret. Especially secret knowledge.
It was a priest of Vecna, by the way. Which elicits a snort from the creature.
Freaking Vecna.
Wow. That certainly makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm not the sort of creature that believes in coincidence. Neither, between you and I, is our giant, imposing friend. It waves a hoof, because apparently I still make gestures. As our giant, imposing friend, he points to the wallflower.
I feel like maybe a head gesture might be.
Right, waves with the horn. The inevitable has come here hunting a priest of Vecna for cheating death. I wonder if it's the same priest.
Goodness, would I not be surprised? What do you know about? What do we know about that priest? Okay, more. I guess. What are the chances that the? No. Never mind. Just ignore me. Thinking out loud.
I believe our friend Thursday refers to to his quarry as the Bone Priest.
Thursday is the clockwork guy?
Yes, Thursday 08/957.
Right.
I love that name. That name makes perfect sense, right?
Because it came up in the context of the conversation that you're having, Struana, actually, everybody, roll me a history check with advantage.
Okay.
13.
18.
13.
So this world, as all worlds, has its own calendar and et cetera, that I haven't bothered to give much detail because unless you guys really want it, I wasn't gonna. But that number corresponds to a day and date. That with an 18, somebody got an 18? All right, with your 18 history check, Stan, you are able to correlate the day and date that seems to be the name of this inevitable to somewhere around the range of the date in question of the rest of this conversation. That is around when Borinor fought the dragon the first time and all this whole thing seemed to have started.
Inevitable.
The inevitable is named for a date in that range.
The inevitable is the clockwork guy.
Yes. So, and that is the kind of dual piece of information that exists in that sentence you just got from Un. That it is named for a date in that range and is hunting a priest of Vecna called the Bone Priest.
Maybe because the priest still had the bone that we had to get that was the Dwarven bone, and I wonder. I wonder if it's not that the oath is too strong.
The oath of the oath of most paladins is basically unbreakable, and the oath of a true paladin that turns into a death knight is the strongest thing, the strongest sort of oath imaginable.
We're all thoughtfully looking at our hands, basically.
How do you plan to get to the city?
Thus far, our plan has been surviving and trying to find friends.
Well, you're in an all right place for that. The ambassador you were speaking with keeps relationships with the bird people that are native to this desert, and they live in the sky in hidden ships that catch waves of heat from the desert to stay aloft. As I understand it, they stay above the storm, and that is how they live. They may be able to speed your journey. There are others here who could do such things. Modizamem himself may provide transport. He can teleport creatures and objects. He knows every inch of the Botwa Moor.
Do I have a sense on whether or not the air elemental bird people would have a difficulty in taking along my new friend?
Oh, the Fae. Likely not. He's unsettling, but has made friends within this court. Mostly for the sorts of deeds that, well, make a certain sort of friend in a certain sort of politics.
I like having options.
Indeed.
Also, I think we need to talk to the same person, so sometimes you're just walking the same direction with someone.
It's true. Well, certainly a lot to think about. If there's any other way I can help, I can tell that we are not both here on accident.
Indeed.
Curious.
And before we
Just
wrap up
as
for the
a-
evening, are there any other conversations you guys wanted to have?
I'm good.
did want to try and talk at maybe not tonight, obviously, but with the Djinn's advisor.
Good one.
Indeed.
I want to try and have that conversation with the Djinn about, like, let's barter and just see if the price is something that I can afford.
Okay. So, it is currently 11:30. Do you feel like we have enough time
Yeah.
to run a bargaining with the Djinn scene, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's got the energy. All
I don't
right
want to
then.
keep you guys up late.
You approach Modizamem's pillow throne, from which he surveys from above the gathering and goings on. Aha! You wish to barter for services from my people now.
Indeed, you have me at advantage.
Of course. But nothing I can do about you being born mortal. But
Appreciate
I
it.
promise
Laugh
to be
at it.
fair. Now, what is it you want from me? And he suddenly gets
To-
very intense.
To use the services of your advisor for 1 hour.
Alright. He looks to Akiri, the vizier next to him, and says, Akiri, can you do anything for these people in a single hour? Akiri sort of kind of nods. It's like, I may aid them tactically if they have concise questions in an hour, yes. 3 hours minimum.
In exchange for?
Well, what do you have? What can you offer, Modizamem?
Performance of stories you have never heard. Absolutely certain that ClickClack's got something amazing up his sleeve. I don't even know what it is, but some technical feat. and feats of strength. We come with our essential being.
Oh. You then would swear to service.
Oh, I'm not falling for that. That's just straight up silly.
No.
No,
Hmm.
I know better than to service or anger a Djinn. I've already been there once.
Oh,
I have a ring of water walking.
you have dealt with a Djinn before?
I
Some
have.
Genie bamboozled you in your youth?
No, I freed a genie.
Oh, from some lamp, I'm sure.
Trap from some. So I'm going to tell him the story of freeing the genie.
Okay,
And that the only thing I asked for was to free my compatriots.
give me a performance check if you like. I assume
Yeah,
that's how
man.
you're doing it.
Oh, yeah. With a 28. My second luck point for the day.
By the end of it,
Oh, no. First now.
by the end of the story, Modizamem is laughing uproariously. He's doubled over. And he says, Tell me, did this Dao wear a red sash and have a mark on the band on his arm?
Like Thomas, did he? That was almost a year ago.
It did.
Like,
He did.
okay. Then yes, he did. Because Struana would not have forgotten this. Simon just...
Right.
a bunch of
This
other
was
things
like
happening.
episode 3. That's and he just goes apeshit laughing. He is out of control with mirth. Like to the point where like the wind kicks up in the room. Just
Well,
like
skirts
like
down.
the entire room is laughing with him. Like as he breathes, the room breathes and laughs. And it's infectious to the people as well. Like other people begin laughing. I know that swine. Ah, that is a story worth 3 hours with Akiru. I will spit in his eye now that I know why he disappeared for 900 years. He was dancing on an island in the Primordial. Akiru, talk to the people. I must laugh. and the vizier comes forward as he just like gives in completely to laughter. This is the best thing he has ever heard. And as
Awesome.
Akiru, the Arakosra, pulls you aside, he says, the master has a long-standing rivalry with this Tao. And as you can imagine, long-standing to genies means generations.
It also means distinctly lucky for me.
I don't think that luck played much part in it. I think that wand on your hip has a reputation. And I think that you are riding a wave you're just starting to understand.
Well, look at the finger of portent, and you got anything to say for yourself?
I get around. What do you want from me?
More spell slots.
He's right, you know. He's very smart. You should listen to him.
Well, that is exactly the point of what just happened. Like I'm arguing with the thing that's speaking in my head out loud.
No. The finger of portent, when she speaks, everybody hears this voice. This is a spoken out loud. Yep.
Okay.
And the vizier pulls you aside and lays out some maps and pulls out like several sets of illusionary sort of screens like you've seen in airships. that are. It's almost like game pieces. It's very very chess like. It's unit representations and things like that. Let's get started. And that's where we'll cut. So, this will be an excuse for you guys you guys and I to sit down and really drill down into some idea of tactics on what you're going to do. We can get a little meta thanks to your clever bargaining for somebody who thinks in the meta. I didn't know how that was going to go.
This person here knows more and can make decisions about how this path should go. Let's talk to them. Bring in counselors. Oh my god.
Someone who is literally used to viewing a battlefield from a 30,000-foot view. Really looking at the overall strategy. Very big picture.
I wanted to ask the Kirin to give Embermock a direction for what he needs based on the fact that he lost his hammer and improved our team.
Okay. Well, we will probably next week wrap up the party at the Genie's and the coming sandstorm. But until then, this has been GameBreakers. If you like what we do, hit like. If you want to see more of it, hit subscribe. And if you want to see it get better, hit up our Patreon. That's what it's for. Meanwhile, I'm Thomas. This is Allison, David, and Diamond. Have a good game.